Join us as we visit Pueblo Mágico number 58, Calvillo, and number 59, Nochistlán.
We are Georgia and David. In March of 2022, we quit our jobs to travel the world full-time. We are currently exploring Mexico, and our goal is to visit 100 Pueblos Mágicos. So today we've driven about 45 minutes from the centro of Aguascalientes to the Pueblo Mágico of Calvillo.
And this is actually our last Pueblo Mágico for the state of Aguascalientes. Last year when we stayed in Zacatecas, we visited the other two, which are Rio de Asientos and San Jose de Gracia. So we'll go ahead and link that video down below.
And right now we are at the Santa Cruz de Calvillo.
Which is a giant cross on top of a hill. And normally you can drive basically all the way up to the top, but with our luck, of course, they are currently doing construction. So we had to park a bit further down and hike up, but the view is definitely worth it either way.
Unfortunately, most of the shops and restaurants at the top of the hill were closed. We're not sure if it was a day and time we came, or if this is just a permanent situation. So we're at our next stop of the day, which is the stairs behind us.
It's Andador Matamoros. As you can see, this street is absolutely beautiful. Tons of flowers, very colorful, and as they say in Mexico, muy Instagrammable. The walk up is fairly steep. I don't know exactly how many steps, but they say if you get all the way up, you get a wish.
All right, so we made it to the Mirador.
It's a lot of steps, but it's very doable. It's a little out of breath. About halfway, we saw a restaurant that looks like it has some great views. So I think we're gonna stop there, grab a drink, maybe some food.
So if we make it up to the Mirador, we should definitely continue on to Nuestra Senora de Guadalupe.
This church is absolutely beautiful. The interior is all this like teal green. It is super detailed. There are gold details everywhere. Really, really beautiful. Probably one of the more detailed, intricate churches we've seen. And then the view from here is fantastic. So if you've already done the Mirador, you've done most of the work, continue a little higher. I think this is probably the highest point other than the cross in the city. The restaurant that we stopped at also was quite good. The beer was almost frozen. It was so cold and we were so hot. Today the high is 97, so it is quite warm. But we both got the arrachera tacos, which were good. It had a nice guacamole and a pico de gallo. We got onion rings and waffle fries. They were okay, but the tacos and the beer, really, really good.
So this Pueblo Mágico happens to house the National Museum of Pueblo Mágicos,
which we're obviously very excited to visit. I think this is our 58th Pueblo Mágico, and they're supposed to have a representation of all 132 inside.
first section of this museum was mostly dedicated to the three Pueblos Mágicos of Aguascalientes. The rest of the museum was divided into Pueblos Mágicos, known for their artesanías, religious artifacts, gastronomy, and traditional clothing and costumes. It was cool seeing what each pueblo had submitted as a representation of what makes them unique. So we just wrapped up at the Pueblo Mágico Museum.
The first part, we actually elected to do a guided tour. The guy was really nice and he knew some English, so we got to practice our English and Spanish, and that was fun. It was really cool to see all these places that we had been. Some of them we could see like an artifact and we knew what Pueblo Mágico was before we read the sign, and it was just kind of cool to see it all in one place, and it made us kind of appreciate how lucky we are to have seen as much as we have. But right behind us here is the main church. We're getting ready to go in and check it out.
So the cupola in that church is one of the biggest in Latin America, and it's not only huge, it is gorgeous.
Yeah, it's super, super impressive. Another Pueblo Mágico we went to actually had the largest cupola, but it wasn't really that pretty. This one, fantastic. Which the little town itself is super beautiful. There's a lot of very colorful buildings. All of the trees are very
sculpted.
Yeah, the landscaping is absolutely beautiful. They have lots of palm trees, lots of little walkways. There's some little portales that have some little shops in them. It's just been super cute to walk around. The town letters are right in front of the church, so we're gonna go grab our family photo. So another thing that this town is known for is a very specific type of cookie. And apparently there are two bakeries right next to each other that are, in the running for the best cookie in the town. So we are going to go and buy some cookies.
Hello, it's Georgia from the future, back at our Airbnb. We did end up getting the cookies from both bakeries. The cookie's actually called Chamuco. Here
This is from Panaderia Don Emiliano, and we got the pan de muerto as well as 2 of the Chamukos, and that was 17 pesos. And then here is the 2 Chamukos and the pastry that we got from Panaderia Don Arturo. Now, I have to give it to Don Emiliano's. There is a little bit of raw sugar sprinkled on the top, which gives it a little bit of crunch, and in my opinion, gives it the slight edge, but both are really, really good.
So the thing this Pueblo Mágico is best known for is its guava production.
They actually were the #1 producer of guava in Mexico until they sold too many trees to the neighboring state of Michoacan, and they actually became the #1 producer. But they say that the guava that comes from this area is much tastier. So we are now at the factory of candies that are made of guava. So we're gonna go check it out.
We ended up getting a private tour from the owner's daughter. We were absolutely blown away by the number of samples we were given. It was really interesting seeing how many different flavors they were able to create from just one fruit.
Recommend stopping by the Guava Factory if you have time and if you speak Spanish because everything was completely in Spanish. But we got to try a bunch of products. They actually make 30 different products, and the reason that they started the company in the first place was because the grandfather noticed that a lot of the neighbors who were trying to sell their guava were having the guava rot or go bad before they could sell it all. So he started with his wife making products to preserve the guava, and the company just grew, and it helped the whole community because they were able to sell all their guava to this company. So it was a neat story. We did buy some tea, and we bought some of their paste and a couple of cookies. And now we are at our final stop for this Pueblo Mágico. I have to say this Pueblo Mágico has had tons to do, and behind me is the lake. The lake is about 15 minutes outside of town, and right now it is June, so the water levels are extremely low. It is nowhere near at the dam, height of the dam, so we can tell that normally the lake is much bigger, but it still is nice. And we stopped at this little lakeside restaurant to get some cantaritos before we head back to Aguas. So overall, really enjoyed this Pueblo Mágico.
So we just drove about an hour and a half to the Pueblo Mágico of Nochistlán.
This Pueblo Mágico is actually located in the state of Zacatecas. However, it is closer to the city of Aguascalientes than it is the city of Zacatecas. Our first stop of the day, as you can probably see behind us, is the aqueduct.
So this aqueduct is just a couple kilometers outside of town. And as you can see, they have their letters here. So we're gonna grab our family photo and then head on to town.
So right now we're in Centro, and on the way here we stopped at a nice little church. It wasn't anything to really write home about. It was nice. Next door, though, was a really nice cemetery. There's a lot of flowering trees and statues, and it was very pretty.
Yeah, I enjoyed our little tour of the cemetery, and as you can see behind me now, there are tons of flowering trees here. Their Centro area is very cute. Everything is very well manicured. They have a huge kiosco that looks similar to the one that we saw in San Luis Potosi. It's like big and stone. And then again, tons of flowering trees, very colorful. I think our next stop is going to be to check out the churches. We were going to make our first stop in town visiting the two churches. However, it appeared that in one there was a funeral going on and in another there was a quinceañera. So since we were both hungry, we decided to find a restaurant. This place is super cute. We did start with Negro Modelos and some guacamole. And now our entrees have arrived. I have the arranchera, which comes with salad, guacamole, beans, and a baked potato. And then David got the mixed grill, which has chorizo, a lamb chop, some chicken, also some arranchera, and a baked potato, guacamole, and salad. So we are hungry and we're gonna dig in.
So we just finished up lunch at La Faena. Everything was delicious, and the beers were bien fria.
Yes, the arranchera was super tender. Their guacamole was fantastic. I have to say that this kind of area around like Jalisco, Aguascalientes, the avocados are better. They're not Hass avocados. They're rounder and they're more buttery. They're super delicious. So every chance we get, we're ordering avocados and guacamole here. But now, hopefully, the churches are through with their ceremonies, so we can go in and check them out. So let's see.
So the second church, the quinceañera was over, but unfortunately a wedding had begun.
That's kind of the luck on Saturdays, is it seems like it's just event after event after event. We did stop by the Municipal Market, and it seems like they do a lot of woodworking as well as beadwork in this town. So we did get a little wooden box for Meep. Originally when we got her cremated, they put her in a human-sized box, so it is absolutely huge. And the guy there was able to carve her name on the side of it, so that was nice. And then here they also have a ton of the beaded jewelry and kind of decorative items, just like they had in Jalisco and in Nayarit. So I did pick up a pair of earrings. Last stop is checking out the Municipal Palace, and then I think we're headed back to Aguascalientes.
Thanks for watching, and as always, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please leave them down below. If you haven't already, check out last week's video where we go over our cost of living in Ajijic and let you know which we think is better, San Miguel de Allende or Ajijic.